Europe is reopening for summer tourism, and I have all the details for you in this video. A full list of every single country that's reopening on the European continent and when. Hi there, and welcome to my channel, Traveling with Kristen, where I teach you how to work online and travel the world. But of course, during these crazy times, I don't have that many travel videos for you right now, but what I do have are coronavirus travel updates. So make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so that when everything reopens, you'll be ready to go. In this video, I'll go through 45 countries in alphabetical order. So if you're interested in a specific country, you can check the timestamps in the description below. First up, Albania. Albania's Prime Minister told Parliament this week that the country will be fully open for tourism by June 1st. And that is amazing news because Albania is a beautiful country located on the Adriatic Sea that is very underrated and very affordable. If you've never been to Albania before, you're definitely missing out. So to get a hint of what the country is like, check out my travel vlog right here. Next up, Austria. Austria is set to reopen its borders on June 15th, but the country is still requiring that visitors pass a health check upon arrival. No word just yet on when non-EU citizens will be able to visit the country or when commercial flights will reopen in general for the rest of the world. But for now, European visitors can plan to visit Austria as of June 15th. Belarus never officially closed during the coronavirus pandemic, so hey, it's still open. Belgium is still closed, unfortunately, but may reopen with restrictions to some European countries on June 15th. It's also worth noting that Belgium's border with the Netherlands is still open, so at least citizens of those two countries can come and go without self-quarantining. Bosnia's health minister recently announced that Bosnia and Herzegovina will be reopening to foreign tourists starting in June, so that's great news. If you've ever been to Bosnia, you know what a beautiful and underrated country it is. Again, check out one of my travel videos on Bosnia to see what it's like. After being one of the first European countries to close its borders, lovely Bulgaria is finally starting to reopen. Borders with Serbia, Greece, and Romania, and possibly Turkey are set to open in June, and there's still some commercial air travel possible, although you may need to provide additional documentation when departing or arriving to Bulgaria. For the inside scoop, check out my video on the cost of living and lifestyle in Bulgaria. Now, Croatia has a very tourism-dependent economy, and it's not fully open yet, but the tourism minister is hoping to start reopening in June. The tourism board of Croatia also made a super helpful website that you can check out to input your data and see if you can arrive to Croatia. Check it out at entercroatia.mup.hr. The lovely country of Cyprus is welcoming back tourists from around the world, but starting with European tourists in June. The UK and Russia are still excluded, unfortunately, but Cyprus is starting a very aggressive reopening plan and hopes to start opening up to the rest of the world throughout the month. Cyprus is a beautiful and affordable island in the Mediterranean with amazing food and more than 340 days of sunshine year-round. Check out this card for my travel video on Cyprus, and I'll link to it in the description below. For more info on when you can visit Cyprus and what there is to do there, check out visitcyprus.com. The Czech Republic opened its borders with Germany and Austria at the end of May, but there are still some restrictions for international arrivals. Visitors to Czech Republic will have to test negative for COVID-19 upon arrival, but things are changing fast and more restrictions should be lifted throughout the month of June. Denmark's borders are still closed to foreign travelers, but borders are opening up with a few countries, including Finland, Sweden, Iceland, Norway, and Germany. Further announcements for Denmark are expected soon. Estonia's border opened to citizens of Latvia and Lithuania in May and is set to open to the rest of Europe on June 1st. Estonia is the most digitized nation in the world, and it's no surprise that you can get up-to-the-minute details at visitestonia.com. It's also one of my favorite countries, and to learn more about it, check out my Life in Estonia video. Finland's borders are still closed until at least June 14th, but stay tuned for the next update. France is one European country that might be closed to most international tourists through the end of 2020, unfortunately. It is, however, part of a travel bubble between countries like Austria, Germany, and Switzerland, so that's good news. People who are working in France right now are allowed to enter as well, in addition to other EU citizens that are just passing through France for transit purposes. British tourists may also be allowed back in the fall, but as of yet, France is not set to reopen for the rest of Europe or the rest of the world in general, but hopefully we'll get another announcement soon. Germany is expected to open its borders to residents of more than 31 European countries on June 15th. The borders are also opening up to Switzerland and Austria, as well as Greece, Israel, and Cyprus in the cards. The country of Georgia is currently phasing out all of its international travel restrictions and opening up the domestic economy. Domestic airports are open, and foreigners from around the world are expected to be able to travel to Georgia as of July 1st, so that's great news. Tourists from countries with low COVID-19 infection rates will also be able to visit Greece soon. Borders are open right now with Bulgaria, Turkey, and Albania, and European tourists should be allowed starting on June 15th. More good news is on the way, with international commercial flights expected to return as of July 1st. Hungary, where my family is from. Hungary's borders started opening in May, and hopefully more European tourists will be allowed to enter as soon as June 15th. During the coronavirus pandemic, Hungary has continued to allow some visitors from neighboring countries like Bulgaria and Czech Republic, as well as some business travelers. So if you're from Germany, Slovakia, Bulgaria, Czech Republic, or any countries in that region, you should be able to visit Hungary right now, and hopefully more coming soon. Iceland plans to reopen to tourists starting on June 15th. However, people will need to test negative for COVID-19 upon arrival. Luckily though, Iceland has their shit together, and you will get your test results within just a few hours after arrival, with the results being sent to your cell phone. So put Iceland on your list for some possible summer travel, as they should be wide open. Ireland was technically never fully closed, but the government has been adamant about telling people not to go there. A lot of the tourism sector in Ireland is still currently closed, with lots of restaurants and hotels and tour guides closed at the moment. So Ireland, it's technically open, but commercial flights are still very limited, although there are a few US routes open. A full Ireland opening may not be possible until later in the year, as the country is still largely in shutdown mode. Italia, where my grandma is from. Italy will be reopening to European tourists starting on June 3rd. Finally, I'm sure people are very excited about that. But if you're not an EU citizen, it's still a bit too early to book. However, San Marino is also opening to European tourists starting June 3rd, and Sicily is planning to open some discounted travel to international tourists in the very near future. So stay tuned for updates on that. Travel to Kazakhstan is currently suspended until at least November of 2020. The country is basically still closed to everyone right now except local citizens. Both land borders and airports are apparently still closed in Kosovo as well. A 14-day quarantine is also in place, and if you go to Kosovo right now, you'll need to stay in a student dorm facility during that time. Latvia's borders have been open with other Baltic states such as Lithuania and Estonia since May 15th, and the country is planning to open up a bit more starting June 15th. Of course, that will be in line with the EU's recommended guidelines on reopening, so international tourists are not welcome just yet. Lithuania has been open with some of the Baltic countries and Poland as well, with their domestic quarantine ending on May 31st. Lithuania is another very lovely and largely undiscovered country, and you can check out 2 of my Lithuania videos on my channel. Luxembourg has been open to Germany since May 15th. However, most international commercial flights are still grounded. We may see Luxembourg start opening up more in line with EU recommendations around June 15th. Macedonia, unfortunately, is closed right now except to all citizens and legal residents. Malta as well, my old home base. Malta is still closed to tourism. However, the tourism board is starting to plan their reopening. Domestically, the economy is also entering its reopening plan, with some restaurants and hotels starting to reopen at limited capacity, as well as some workplaces. Moldova, unfortunately, still closed with a national state of emergency in place through June 30th. Non-essential travel is also still restricted right now to Monaco. However, it will be opening up to European tourists as of June 3rd. Montenegro has earned the prize of being Europe's first COVID-19 free country, and they're making the most of it, starting with Europeans and visitors from other low-risk countries on June 1st. While the Netherlands border with Belgium is open, the country is still basically closed. European tourists may be allowed in starting on June 15th, but right now the official word is that the government is still discouraging all incoming travelers. Amsterdam is one of my favorite cities in the world, so hopefully it opens up soon. Norway is also still turning away foreigners at the border. There's no set date for Norway to reopen, but they might start allowing citizens of some countries in the EU to come in starting June 15th. A 10-day quarantine is also still in place if you'd like to visit Norway, even if you're from the Schengen area. Poland's borders are opening right up, including countries such as Latvia, Lithuania, Czech Republic, Slovakia, and Germany. Although lockdown measures in Poland are being lifted right now, you can't visit just yet, but hopefully it's open soon. Many people's favorite country of Portugal is unfortunately still closed until at least June 15th, with the government hesitant to reopen just yet in alignment with Europe's reopening plan. They've said that it might be at least midsummer until European tourists are allowed to come in, and a lot longer for the rest of us. Until then, if you want to reminisce about what it's like to visit Portugal, check out my video on living in Lisbon. Romania has already started opening up some national parks and tourism sites to their citizens, and the country is set to open up on June 15th as long as things stay how they are right now. Russia is one country that was very hard hit with COVID-19 cases, and as such, they are still closed, might start reopening to foreigners starting in July. Most commercial flights are still grounded, however, but they will be offering COVID testing in the airport to any travelers. Serbia is finally opening up, which is great news. Self-quarantining measures are no longer mandated, and you don't have to wear a mask in public anymore. If you've been subscribed to my channel for a while, you know that I'm a huge fan of Serbia, and I have lots of videos on what it's like to travel there. So make sure to explore around my channel and check those out. It's a beautiful country with lots of history, very safe, amazing people, and great food, and a great music scene. Definitely put it on your list. Spain and Andorra are still closed, but are planning to open up to foreign tourists, including outside of the EU, beginning in July. In other good news, they will also be ending their mandatory 14-day quarantine. Slovenia has already been open since May 15th. They have their coronavirus situation under control, so definitely put it on your list for summer travel. Slovakia started opening up with restrictions on May 27th. There aren't many other details available right now, but stay tuned for updates because I'm definitely on top of it. Sweden is set to reopen to Europeans on June 15th, but unfortunately, the rest of us are going to have to wait until at least August to visit. Switzerland is opening up to European tourists on June 15th and opening their borders as well, also with no quarantine required. No word yet, however, for the rest of us. Turkey's government is planning to open to international tourists as early as June 15th. Definitely stay tuned for more details on that. Even though the United Kingdom is no longer technically part of Europe, I'm going to include it in this list. Flights have still been available to the UK throughout the pandemic, although there have been some pretty heavy restrictions. Even though a lot of the European Union is going to be opening up in June, since Brexit, British citizens are excluded from that, so they'll just have to wait like the rest of us. Ukraine was on strict lockdown for a while, but they did start opening back up on May 22nd. Commercial flights to Ukraine should be available as of June 15th, and the country plans to open to the rest of the world in addition to Europe. This has been your unofficial COVID-19 European travel update. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about a specific country, and I'm happy to answer. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell for weekly updates, and share this video with someone who likes travel as much as you. See you soon.